celebrating success, learning from legends, and growing poppies. This is Tall Poppy Talk with Grace Lewis. Kia ora everyone. So at just 19 years old, Dylan Schmidt not only became New Zealand's first ever athlete to compete in the trampoline at the Olympic Games, he also became our first finalist, taking home 7th in the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. Taking major strides in the field, Dylan earned himself and his country a bronze medal at the 2020 Tokyo Games, a historic moment for New Zealand, marking it the first ever Olympic gymnastics medal. Pretty sweet. As an Olympic ambassador, he has dedicated his time outside of training to actively inspire young Kiwis and adults by visiting schools around the country, sharing his sporting journey and encouraging everyone to embrace a healthier, active lifestyle. To add another string to his bow, he was a castaway contender on the 6th season of the celebrity Treasure Island of New Zealand, where he raised, I believe it was $10,000 for your chosen charity of Special Olympics New Zealand. So with a full-on life ranging from intense training to compete at the Olympics or extreme competition during Celebrity Treasure Island, to advocating and spreading education across New Zealand schools. It's a great pleasure that I welcome you to our Tall Poppy Talk. So how are you this morning?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, just finished off on the gym, so squeeze this in and then off to training.
Crikey, and we'll get straight into it then, because again, appreciate your time. How would you define yourself outside of trampolining? What other hobbies and stuff do you get up to?
I'm just a pretty normal, I guess, Kiwi bloke, Kiwi guy, and love the outdoors, love hunting and fishing, and just being outside. Just that general sort of laid-back Kiwi, I guess, lifestyle of barbecues, enjoying the summer and going forward driving and just really having a good time. Just trying to, I guess, for me, it's really getting out of the city, and just getting outside and that sort of thing. So it's pretty much how I describe myself, I guess.
I like that. In terms of hunting, I'm not huge into hunting myself, but is there do you use bow, rifle? Like, what's your specialty?
I use a rifle mainly. Yeah, I did buy a bow recently actually, but I'm trying to master that craft before I take it out in the field for live action. Don't want to wound any animals, want to be pretty proficient at it before I try that, because it's definitely a lot more challenging.
Oh, for sure. From what I understand, it's almost like meditation. You have to be so calm and focused.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's sort of what I'm using it for a little bit, so it's been fun.
Watch that space then. Okay, to throw it back a little bit, just kind of want to talk about your experience prior, because we all know you as the Olympian, right? But we're throwing it back. I know in 2014 was when you won gold at the Summer Youth Olympics, and then silver at the 2016, I guess it's test event, from what I understood, prior to the. As an outsider looking in, I see that success, and I'm assuming you've got to be pretty confident. I know that's probably not how it always felt for you, but can you kind of explain for all of us the feelings and thoughts you had when you found out you were going to be competing back in 2016 Rio?
Yeah, that was a pretty big moment for me in my career, I guess. I sort of come off the back of a pretty good junior career. Well, I finished my junior career really, really strong. Obviously gold in 2014 Youth Olympics, and then kind of went straight to World Champs for my first senior event that same year in 2014. I came 15th and really sort of, I guess, transitioned from a junior to a senior and showed that I could, still be up there with the top guys. So coming 15th, and then the next year was 2015, so that was qualifying for the Olympics for 2016. So that was all kind of happened very quickly, and I was only 18. And yeah, the system to qualify was a little bit different for 2016. So had a pretty decent sort of World Cup circuit in 2015, kind of getting into it with the seniors, and then at World Champs I came 9th, which was frustrating because if I came top 8 I would have automatically qualified.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was a bugger because I didn't do my best routine, so a little bit frustrating. But then I knew I had to go to the test event, as you alluded to earlier, and go to Rio and try and qualify that way, which was the last chance to qualify. Yeah, had a few back issues, had some really, I guess, a challenging time. Like even for me, competing at the test event was a bit of a, well, even getting onto the trampoline was a struggle. So to get there and compete and to come second, and instantly I knew I'd qualified, so I could get off the trampoline. Or once my score came up, I knew. So yeah, it was just a huge relief, knowing that I was good enough and knowing, all the, I guess, hardships I'd sort of faced to get there, and having the people around me that were there, supporting me along the way to sort of share the moment was pretty cool as well.
Oh, wicked.
So yeah, qualifying was huge for me.
And you kind of mentioned it there, how you were not struggling, but a little bit tough to even get on to the tramp. In an interview I found, you were talking about how leading like right into Rio, like even when you were there, maybe some concerning injuries or tweaks and things you were feeling. And as an athlete, obviously you want to compete. As you said, you put in all that work to get there, but you also want to invest in your body long term. So can you provide some insight as to maybe what discussions you're having, your coach, your support staff before competing when you're not feeling 100% physically?
Yeah, well, leading into the test event, I didn't know why my back was so sore, but turns out I'd slipped the disc at some stage, so I got home and sort of had to get that fixed, and didn't have surgery or anything, but just did a lot of strengthening. And then between then and basically as soon as I got back to the test event, I had my appendix removed as well, which wasn't fun. So had appendicitis surgery, and then was just trying to get back into training and get things moving, and the back was still niggling me at the games as well. I actually missed the opening ceremony because my back was just too sore. So in terms of the conversations with my coach and support staff, it was just really just managing the injury. Like I wasn't not going to compete. So that was never really an option, I guess. Unless I literally couldn't walk. But yeah, I was there, and I was prepared to do everything it took to kind of get on the trampoline, and luckily the medical and stuff like that really looked after me and sort of got moving again, and managed to again, like the test event, sort of feel good enough to jump.
Yeah. Oh wow. And I guess that alludes to, there's a quote I really like from you. I think it was when you did a video with the New Zealand team and you said, it's not going to be fun, it's a mission when you head into Tokyo Games. I don't know if you recall saying that, but
I'm saying that now.
yeah, I found it. How did the experience change, or maybe leading into Rio versus Tokyo? I know that's a really broad question, but
that's a pretty easy question to answer, to be honest. Like leading into Rio, obviously a lot of unknown, a lot of excitement. It's first time, very young. It's pretty cool to be a part of the team. No one really knows who you are, so you're just trying to meet people, and everyone's being really friendly, and you're just there, and you're training, and you're enjoying the food hall, and you're walking around, and it's just a pretty crazy event in general. And obviously, there was Zika virus, but it wasn't nothing like COVID, so it was free. We could walk around, we could go out, we could do, we go to sightseeing, whatever, if we wanted to. We could go watch other people's events, and it was really like, this is what the Olympics is like. But going into Tokyo, we all knew that it was going to be nothing like the last one. It was going to be very strict, very just, get in, get out sort of thing. So I guess probably that's where the quote came from. Like, it's not exactly going to be a fun Olympics, because it's not going to be like any other Olympics. You're not going to have the social side of it. You're not going to have the party afterwards where you can go and watch other people compete and hang out and enjoy it. Yeah. So I sort of guess I took that mindset into Tokyo, where, this is just a job. I'm getting in to perform, and it's a mission, I guess. Yeah. So it was my mission to get on the podium. So I guess that sort of mindset. But I'll ultimately take a different mindset into Paris, because knowing, the world and Paris in 2024, it's going to be a lot more like Rio. So I'll definitely have a bit more fun. Yeah.
Well, and interesting too, I suppose, for you, and maybe you found that out more when you came back to New Zealand, how many people got joy watching, like even people who didn't typically watch the Olympics. It was something for everyone to do because of COVID in particular. I mean, you have your avid sports people who are going to be watching regardless, but the hype that it got, and especially you were paving the way in a whole new field that typically, from what I understand, it's maybe like French, Canadian, Japanese, Chinese, Russian. Like, we haven't really had a presence of New Zealanders in that sport ever.
Yeah.
And so for you to suddenly spark it, I remember catching the news the first time. I was like, whoa, it's like, I didn't know we did that. It reminds me of when Rob Bedell for rowing back in like the 2000s, Sydney Olympics, suddenly we start rowing, and now here we are in like Tokyo, we have a huge presence. So it's kind of exciting that you're at the forefront of what's probably just going to continue to grow and grow. It kind of leads into my next question. It's sweet because it sounds like you're aware of not the pressure of it, but I would be in this situation like, feeling some pressure and expectation, but sounds like you've got a really good hold on it. And obviously everything comes down to 30 seconds, right, on the tramp.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure. And I just kind of wanted to ask, and maybe you could explain a little bit about not only how you keep yourself calm and focused because you're executing really particular moves, but how your family and your support system help when you're approaching the tramp and you've got 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just firstly lead off with, as I definitely do feel pressure, and it's been a huge learning curve over my whole career to be able to cope under the pressure, and sometimes I still don't. Sometimes it can be pretty challenging and pretty tough. So it's definitely a skill that I'm getting down and nailing, and I guess that's sort of what all of us high performance athletes are trying to do. But it is tough, but I think I've got a pretty good hold on it now, and obviously in Tokyo felt pretty good. So basically I put all my focus on knowing I've done the work before I get there, and being honest with myself, and knowing that I can honestly say that I've done everything I can to be in the best position possible to perform at my best, and then knowing that if it doesn't come off, it's okay. I'm happy with my performance, sort of based on the work that I've done to get there, because I know that and like most sports, sometimes it just doesn't happen on the day. It's hard to get it right when it counts. Obviously, that's what you train for, but you got the Olympics once every 4 years or whatever, and as you said, I've got 30 seconds in those 4 years to kind of nail it, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. So I think knowing that I loved getting there, and I loved the journey and the process of working hard, training hard, doing everything I can, trying to be the best I can be. Obviously you got to have days where you're relaxing and you're maybe not as serious, and I'm not going to say I'm up at 5 every morning, sort of just, and I'm not like obsessed as I used to be, but definitely knowing that I've put in the hard yards, and I can fall back on that when I'm competing. And like I said before, just if it doesn't go my way, it is what it is. It's just one of those things. It sucks, but it's you can't control. Sometimes you just can't control those things. And I've got an amazing support network. I've got an amazing team here at High Performance, and sort of, and broader and beyond as well, my coach and all that, and then obviously my family, my mum and dad, and friends and family. Everyone's pretty amazing. So I mean, kind of sounds a bit like not that I don't care. I obviously care, and I obviously am there to win. But if I don't win, I can still come back and have a beer with the boys, and they don't give a shit. So
yeah,
well, they don't care. I can still come back, and I've got my life here where I can just relax and play golf and go hunting, and so if anyone's pissed off, it's me, no one else really. And I know that. I know that. I genuinely know that the people around me aren't too bothered.
Yeah, it sounds like sort of like if you're baking a cake, right, and winning is the cherry on top. You want to enjoy the whole cake and not like you said, not that you don't care if the cherry's not there, but loving the process, loving every part of it, and not relying on that final result but then when you get it, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, it is, and it feels bloody good. But it's also, I think, something that's helped me a lot. On the come down of big events. Sometimes after the Olympics, I mean, I can't speak from personal experience, but I do know that there is that sort of lull and, oh, is that it, sort of thing, which is a weird thing to say, but it does kind of feel like, was that it? Like, I've spent 4 years training, and then if it doesn't go your way, it can really derail you. But I think if you can kind of go back and look back at the journey and go, well, but look at all those good times I had at training, like laughing, pushing myself, doing the hard yards, to get to that moment. If you can kind of look back at all those memories, not just the memory of the Olympics, because the Olympics is such a small moment in an athlete's journey. It helps with kind of, I guess, being a bit more holistic and not getting too down on yourself if it doesn't go your way. Because life's sometimes life just doesn't go your way. So you can mourn and be upset about it, but I think everyone should still be proud of even getting to the Olympics in general.
And is that, I guess you had a decent amount of time to think about that when you were in MIQ after Tokyo, kind of pondering on it. And you alluded to this already, your expectations heading into Paris. Seems like a long ways away, but it's not in terms of athletics. You've got 3 years to prep for it. Yeah. What are you looking forward to? You kind of mentioned some of it, but what are you looking forward to heading into that one?
Oh, I just can't wait. Like, it's going to be, it's in Paris, Europe. It's going to be cool. It's going to be hopefully friends and family there. Definitely my family and my mates some of my mates were supposed to come to Tokyo, so hopefully they can sort of make it work and come to Paris. I think just having everyone around and having the crowds and the atmosphere, and I think Europe's going to be cool because there's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot of people, which I'm excited for. Obviously, just the actual competition itself, I'm there to win, so that's exciting for me. Having a chance to win. And just perform again and feel that pressure, because I've only really felt a certain level of pressure in Tokyo. I mean, even in Rio, I have felt the pressure, but not as much as I did in Tokyo, and it's a feeling you just can't emulate. So I'm excited to feel that again, because it's pretty crazy. It's weird how the body works, but it's a pretty cool feeling. It sucks, but it's awesome at the same time. So yeah, excited to compete, excited to just, put myself out there and give it my all, and then obviously just the atmosphere after comp. I'm looking forward to going back to that. So after Tokyo, we just had to come straight home, but I'm looking forward to staying in Europe, watching everyone else compete, watching other Kiwis do amazing things, and just I mean, it'd be pretty nice to have a couple of beers after as well. Yeah.
Can you emulate the feeling, like the pressure in training? Is there any way to mock it? No.
You can't even feel it at World Champs. It's not the same. It's completely different. Yeah.
And can you kind of talk me through when you're competing there? Do you see your competitors compete, or can you? Like, what do you do?
You're out on the floor with them. Yeah.
Oh wow. Do you like watching them, or?
I don't mind. I wouldn't say I intensely stare at their routines, but I'll watch it in my peripheral and I'll kind of zone out while I'm watching it, but I'm not analyzing what they're doing. I'll just be like, oh yeah, it's a nice routine. I probably won't really watch the ones before me too much. I'll be kind of like doing my little warm-up routine thing, but yeah, I don't really mind. I guess as you get older, you sort of realize you can't control what other people are doing. So you just got to focus on yourself, and watching them is not going to change anything. And sometimes, if they do a really good routine, it can puts a bit more pressure on, but you go, shit, I need to hit this one. So it's kind of exciting as well.
Yeah. Almost like admiration, like, oh, that was nice. All right, watch me.
I mean, they train just as hard as me, or maybe not, but who knows? They train bloody hard. So, and we're all quote unquote mates, we're all pretty friendly with each other. So we all know it's a pretty tough sport. So when someone does something and hits a good routine, I'm happy for them. I still want to beat them, but
you respect them, but you want to beat them too. I like that. Okay, I kind of want to delve into a different topic, tall poppy syndrome. How would you describe it?
I'd say, yeah, it's a tough one because, like, for me, it's more people almost don't realize how much hard work it goes into getting to where I am, and then just think that I'm just naturally talented, which, you know, some would say I am, but really not knowing how much work goes into being at the top of your sport or at the top of anything that you do. And just because, you know, we're willing to sacrifice, you know, the time and the effort and the hardships to get there. Doesn't mean that we're arrogant and cocky and like think we're the best and think we're better than everyone. I completely do not feel that way at all, but that's, I guess, where it comes from, is people that maybe haven't given something their all, or just living a quote unquote normal life. Look at people who are succeeding and doing well and think that we almost got it handed to us, which is pretty frustrating, because it's definitely, for most of us, it's not like that at all. You know, we work our asses off to get to where we are, and we're putting in the hours and putting in the work, and we're, you know, eating right, and we're doing all those things. So it's definitely not. I think as I've got older, I've definitely just blocked it out a lot more. I don't feel like it's as prominent as potentially it was. It's definitely still there a little bit, but yeah, it's just one of those things where it seems like it's just sort of almost unconscious, you know, almost people aren't really trying to, but it's just a weird feeling that they have, and I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it sounds, from like what you've said and what I've heard from other, especially in athletics, like you said, to get to the point where you're competing, you want to know you've done everything you can do, right? So maybe as you've gotten older, you know that you've put in the work to get that successful. You're the first person to do what you've done for New Zealand in the sport of trampolining. So, and that, I think it's pretty positive, just naturally. You're role modeling to people that you can create your own path, and maybe challenging some of those powerhouse other countries that have more resources, whatever it might be. You've trained every day for years from a young age. I read that your siblings also were in the sport, so the whole family was invested. And I won't say that takes a lot of willpower, but it's hours and hours every single day before maybe you start to yield some results. So I don't know, maybe have you felt the impact of tall poppy syndrome? But a more kind of positive question is, like you said, if people are maybe unconsciously doing it, how do you reckon we challenge that? Is it we have conversations like this, or maybe we just kind of empathize and respect that other people have worked really hard to get where they are? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's such a hard one, because I mean, I think a lot of it is just the person as well, maybe how they're brought up. But to answer your first question, I think was it how have I dealt with it, or how have I felt? Yeah, I mean, I used to definitely I was like, I'd just not say anything about my achievements. You know, I'd just be like, whatever, you know, yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'd be traveling. I went to Worlds. Yeah, I had a good time. I competed well. I did well. You know, just kind of just to keep it low key, which I guess is kind of my personality anyway. But I think over the last, especially before Tokyo, I really embraced. That was kind of like maybe Rio, a little bit post Rio, where I kind of cared about what people thought about me, and I was like really, I guess, self-conscious that I didn't want to come across as arrogant, or didn't want people to think I was, you know, thought I was better than them, because, you know, it's just that natural, that kind of energy that some people have.
Yeah.
When you say something and they're like, oh, you just think you're fucking better than me or whatever. But honestly, pre-Tokyo, I made a conscious effort to be really outspoken about how confident I was, that I'm putting in the work, that I'm there to win. I'm not afraid to say that I'm good enough. Like I'm not afraid to be like, yeah, I can win. Which is funny because I said that in so many interviews, like because I made a conscious effort with people I was working with, kind of formulate language that would kind of be like, yeah, you know. So I think in all my interviews, they said, what are your goals? And I'm like, well, I'm there to win.
Yeah.
That's that's what I'm there to do, and they're like, and I'm good enough to win. And I know I can do it. And then when I got the bronze medal, everyone was like, whoa, like you must have been so surprised, you must have been shocked. And I was like, I had to bite my lip a little bit and say, no, I wasn't. Like I knew I was good enough. Anyone around me knew that was definitely well within my grasp. And I'm not gonna I know people don't follow trampolining and they aren't really invested in my career, which is fine. So for them, it was a shock, which is great. I love that. I love that people were like, "Oh, this is awesome!" I can't believe this trampolinist just won a medal for us. But for me, it was almost like bugger. Like I'm stoked, absolutely stoked. But I knew I could have done better. I knew my routine wasn't as good as I could have done. Obviously wrapped with the bronze, but to say for people to just assume that I was shocked and surprised and didn't think I would have done that was like kind of almost like a little bit frustrating, but you kind of just bite your tongue and it's fine because everyone's really happy and supportive and just stoked for me. So yeah, I think that's probably actually the weird thing was post the medal, everyone that I talked to was stoked for me, really happy, seeing genuine about it. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, wicked. And I guess to your point, I know that after Rio, you came back in 2017. There was an injury mixed in pretty soon thereafter, but you were actually hitting personal records coming right off Rio. So for you, even leading into Rio, it's like I've been doing this for years and years and years. Got to King's College, right? With a sporting opportunity there. And so for you, this long-term vision's been on the train. So that's really interesting to imagine, because I was one of those people that's like, oh wow, awesome. Okay, I didn't know we did that. But for you, you're like, it's been on the agenda for a while. So I'm looking forward to Paris.
Me too.
And thank you for sharing that. I know for some people who are going to struggle with it, if in general, sounds like maybe your positive dialogue was backing yourself, and part of that came from having successes. But do you think most of that was like a mental conscious decision of like, nah, I know what I've done and I'm going to back myself?
Pretty much. Like I think as you get older, you kind of realize that people's opinions don't really matter that much if they're not close to you. And I know that I'm a good person, and I know that the people around me know that I'm, not just some arrogant little, kid that thinks he's better than everyone. So for me, it was like, I don't care what people think. This is how I feel. This is the conversations I've had with my team. Everyone knows that I've put in the work, that are close to me. So if I can't verbalize that, if I can't say that out loud, then do I even believe it? Do I even believe that I'm good enough? So I think holding back is, to your point about tall poppy syndrome, potentially stems from people that are succeeding holding back because they feel like they're going to be attacked for it. But yeah, I just really don't care. Like if people can think what they want to think about me, but I know I have really, really strong values, and I know deep down that I'm not whatever they think I might be. And as I said before, I'm just not afraid to say my goal is to win the Olympic Games. I may never get there. It's like pretty high chance that I'm not going to win. I know that. It's not easy, but I'm going to give it my best shot. And if, as I said, kind of just then, like if you can't say it out loud, even if you believe it internally, saying it out loud really makes it more real, more tangible. Kind of makes you feel a bit, I don't know, makes you feel like, yeah, instead of kind of holding it back and just keeping it within your tight team.
Yeah.
It's just creating that language, I guess, from the outside looking in. So, you know, people know, I mean, obviously I've medaled at Tokyo now, so people are going to be expecting me to get another medal in Paris. But, you know, it's got, I love that. Like, I'm embrace that, you know, people are going to, you know, oh, medal chance, you know, whatever. Cool. Yeah, I know I am.
You
You
like
know, like it's to me, it's exciting, and
yeah.
people might take that the wrong way. But they're not in the gym with me every day. They're not on the trampoline seeing what I do. They're not, you know, seeing the hours I put into recovery and injury management and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So it's so much happens to get to the games, and you know, it's 30 seconds to all of that for 30 seconds of work. To me, it's just super exciting. So, and I'm proud of. I guess I'm just proud of the work that I've done. So
I love that. And I think that that's what positive messaging we can share is allowing people to say, this is what I want to do. You share your
yeah,
dreams, you're working hard for your dreams, and it allows others to join that journey with you and maybe inspire them to pursue what they're doing, which is kind of the goal of what I'm trying to spread is,
yeah,
like you said, I like that, be proud of what you've done because you should be and not have to be like, oh, it's all right. No, like it's
yeah. It's such a
incredible.
weird like when you feel like you have to say that. Like you shouldn't have to feel like that. You should be like if you should say if something. I mean, especially people close to you, you should be like, yeah, man, I want to like play. You know, I don't know. I want to play at Coachella one day, and your mate should be like, hell yeah, like that's me. You know, like not like that's that's stupid. Like you're never going to do that kind of thing. So
That's
definitely, yeah, it's tough one. But if you're surrounded by the right people, then I think you'll be all good.
Yeah, and once you start to see greatness, I mean, you're probably surrounded by a lot of pretty incredible athletes. You see what others
Yeah,
doing, pushes you to do something yourself. And a bit of a segue, but Celebrity Treasure Island, like what got you to put? I mean, that's a complete different kettle of fish. So I wanted to ask about that.
yeah.
What
Look,
was,
I've always been someone that sort of takes opportunities when they pop up, and I think it's served me well in my life. So yeah, look, honestly, got a phone call, got the opportunity, and had a conversation with the team and my coach, and yeah, just went for it, I guess. Um, I kind of thought, why not? I'm not going to have an opportunity to do this in the next few years. You know, it's kind of the only time that would work with training and Paris build up and stuff like that. So I just kind of said, oh well, who gets to do this? And honestly, I don't regret it at all. I had a great time. I made some amazing friends. Um, I mean, yeah, it was an incredible experience. I think I'm so stoked out of it. Had just an absolute blast. Yeah,
that's wicked. Obviously the cause is all brilliant.
yeah,
Charity, all these things. I did want to ask though, in terms of competing, you're used to competition. Was it a bit hard case competing with people from all sorts of different genres? Was it?
yeah, yeah. It was a little bit. I tried to keep it pretty mellow. I was fiercely intense when I was competing, but um, yeah, a couple of the challenges and stuff like that, I was like, I was trying to, you know, get Ron on my side and things like that. So it was hard to kind of be in a team with some, you know, everyone's trying to do the puzzles and whatnot, and I'm very much used to doing things by myself. So um, yeah, it was fun. It was a cool experience. Like we everyone in there was super competitive, and we were all trying to win food. So, but it was cool to kind of, yeah, I mean, have that different sort of competition, especially in that elimination with Eds, where it was actually 1-on-1. That was pretty exciting. It was, yeah, I love that. So
Nice. And when you get the chance to go around to schools and talk to kids and stuff, do you find they talk more about trampolining, or now is it
no,
Celebrity Treasure Island?
no, it's all Treasure Island, which will die down obviously when the show, you know, in the next like year or so. But it's definitely Treasure Island chat. They love it. They just want to know who wins.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't tell that. But no, it's funny. They definitely love it. It's definitely it's a new talking point as well, especially with the schools and all that sort of stuff. So overall, I think it was good for me and good for my image, and just getting my name out there again a bit more. Yeah.
Oh, and I have one more question, totally left field, but if you could have one meal forever, not final meal, but you can only eat one thing, you got to factor in training.
Only eat one thing forever.
Yeah.
Like, can it be a meal? Like,
yeah. I had someone, Nikita Howarth, I asked her and she said a burrito with a side of dumplings. And I said, that's cheating. That's 2 meals.
That's cheating. That's 2 meals. I would have just your stock standard, like, well, I'd have venison, so red meat, venison, with smashed potatoes.
Yeah.
And like a side of, broccoli or carrots, like a standard kind of like veggie, beans.
That's a very well balanced meal.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's the only meal you have for the rest of your life, you want it to be well balanced, don't you? So,
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'd have.
Okay, you heard it here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know you're packed, you've got training sandwiching both of this, so really appreciate it. Love the positive attitude you bring to it. Good luck with training, and we'll see what happens in the next couple of years.
Yeah, exactly.
Exciting. Thank you so much for listening to Tall Poppy Talk. We'll see you next time. Feel free to check us out on socials, YouTube, and the website. Thanks for today's guest, and we'll see you all next time. Take care. Be kind.